Proving my critics wrong one at a time. All right, so I do my other channel, Josh Scanlon, YouTube. Josh Scanlon is for a backup essentially for this main channel, which this video will be on. And so what I do is I go through the list of my older videos on my heritage wealth planning, and I just literally re-upload them to my other channel. So that way there's if this channel ever gets nuked, I'll have a secondary place over there. And on top, it allows me to take the videos, I download them, and I save them to my jump drive here, just in case. You know what I'm saying? It's a mechanism. It happens to be that on my other channel, I'm still getting advertising revenue, which is pretty cool. So I'm getting money from that other channel as well as this main channel. I mean, it's good stuff. So my older videos are going to be on Josh Scanlon YouTube channel. So if you're like, oh, Josh, you've gone crazy, your other videos are good, just go over there. Definitely subscribe and watch the videos there. And I still get that sweet, sweet YouTube money. While we're at it, don't forget to subscribe to my Locals channel. We'll be going live at 4 p.m. today, every Friday, Locals only, 4 p.m., and then subscribe to my email newsletter in the doobly doo down below. All right, so I want to share with you a comment. This from the video I did, stop planning like you'll live till you're 90. And this is, again, on this channel, I'm just reposting old videos from my other channel based on views. So the higher the views, they just go over here and they just keep, I'd probably post 5 a week or something like that. Anyway, so here's this guy, Common Sense, who's had it in for me a little bit. I'm not being paranoid, but he's always trying to, I can't recall he's been on here. I might have actually banned him on my main channel, but he's had a couple of instances where he's tried to do the gotcha thing. And, look, you can do the gotcha thing when I ever get into the realm of science and other things, but in financial planning, not very, very, very rarely are you going to get me. On occasion I made a mistake, and when I do, I correct it. Like I had an error. It didn't affect the video at all, but there was an error. I think my man Dougie B saw that I typed in something wrong, and I said it didn't affect it, but I took the video down. So I didn't want that permeating the ether, if you will, with my error. So if I see a mistake and you all make me aware of it, I'll either delete it or I'll correct it. In this case, this guy's just dead wrong, and it's somewhat frustrating to me because it's just basic logic, and I think basic logic is few and far between anymore in our society. And I hate to use YouTube as the example of that, but YouTube is mostly men, and my realm is mostly older men, my age and above, and a lot of these guys just think they know more than they do. It's just all there is to it. And you might even say the same about me. I'm always curious. I don't think I do. I'm curious as to why when people make assertions, I'm like, oh, let's back that up. Anyway, so here's this guy making an assertion. My basis was on the Social Security mortality tables using other data sets that the likelihood of you living a 30-year retirement isn't very high. You can plan for that. It's just not very high that you're going to. And I showed you in this video, which you should watch, and you subscribe to this channel as well. And this guy says, but Josh, the MetLife life insurance tables disagree with you. And he says, the older you get in good health, the higher your life expectancy goes up. So he says, I'm 71, so the tables say my life expectancy is 86. That was the age my mom died, and I believe 86 is the average life expectancy for women. I know many women these days who live until their 90s. Not financially planning for that seems risky. And I said, you don't see the error in your comment? All right, so put thumbs up if you see the error. Hey, no, it's just a FedEx guy. It's just a don't. Come here. All right, there you go. Right. So put the thumbs up if you see the error in his comment. Let me just read this again. So he's saying the MetLife life insurance tables disagree with me because they are saying the older you get in good health, the higher your life expectancy is. I'm 71, so the tables say my life expectancy is 86. All right, this is the old-fashioned survivorship bias, all right? So what happens in these mortality tables, and this is pretty simple stuff, and I explained it in the video, but I'll explain it again here. Once you hit 71, your life expectancy inherently is not 70. It's not 67. It's not 52. You've survived until you're 71. So the life expectancy tables, they take all the survivors at 71 and they say, what is their life expectancy from 71 and beyond? Inherently, the people who died before 71 are not in these new life expectancy tables, man. So if you did, inherently, you're 71. That means your life expectancy cannot be 70. It's inherent. On the other hand, if you're dead, your life expectancy can't be 86. So people die from 60, 61, 62, 63. What life expectancy is the survivors. What is their life expectancy given that they survived until today in the future? All the people before are dead. So when he says your life expectancy goes up the older you get, inherently because the people who are dead aren't part of that. They're starting with the survivors. That's the basis of survivorship bias. All right, so the life expectancy of someone 60 is 61 all the way till he's a million. You know what I'm saying? The life expectancy of somebody who's survived till 70 inherently has to be 71 and beyond because he's survived that decade from 60 to 70. You see how this works? It's not rocket science here. It's just basic logic. Survivorship bias is huge, man. It's huge in all kinds of aspects, not just financial planning, mutual fund, a million different things. If you're able to survive a certain length, inherently your life expectancy won't be the age that you lived beyond. All right, so that's one thing. Let's go to a couple other ones. This is just for my video. I have to get this off my chest where I talked about Poincaré and Einstein and other physicists of the earlier century ago, basically saying on the terrestrial plane, we cannot prove the Earth moves. It's just a fact. It seems kind of common sense. That's where relativity came in, because we can't prove it moves while you're in the environment for what you're trying to prove. Anyway, so this guy says and look, this isn't my expertise. I just find it interesting. You know, I was reading a book from what's his name, Edmund Whitaker. We talked about Poincaré, and then just going. It's just interesting to me, and I don't have all the answers. But I'm curious, and not to be curious is just weird. A lot of people aren't, though. It's all sacrosanct, which is, I hate to say it, one of the reasons we got to the last 3 years. People say, oh, science, they know everything. Crazy, science envy. All right. Long exposure star photography shows circular motion. Try and watch a star in a telescope. It will move because we are moving, this guy says. And I says, that doesn't prove the Earth is moving. Going back to Einstein, it proves something moves, but it doesn't prove the Earth is. It could prove the stars are moving around us. It could prove that the Earth is. We could prove the Earth is moving, but it doesn't say because things are moving, it's the Earth that's moving. In fact, with you could literally, your default would be the stars move because that's what we see. And then he says. I said, that doesn't prove the Earth moved. Then he follows up. Until the time I can make my way into outer space, I need to rely on other tests and create a model of how the planet. All right, so the issue is he made an assertion. He asserted that watching a star in a telescope will prove the Earth is moving, but he did not do any of the sorts. You see what I'm saying? Again, it doesn't disprove the Earth is moving, but it doesn't prove it. This isn't, again, it's just basic logic if you think about it, right? So then some other guy says, let's see right here. I asked Curtis Stewart if he believes GPS proved relativity, which it doesn't, but he says, proving relativity is way above my pay grade. I just sort of accept the laws of thermodynamics and relativity as well, laws, and go on my life. All right, so again, that's fine. I don't have any problem with that. You can continue to do that. And I'm not mad at anybody for doing that. I don't like the assertions. Yes, assertions that these things are proven. They're not. And I said I have no problem with that. I just find it interesting that with a quick scratch of the surface, all these laws that Einstein formulated turns out to have many issues. All right, so we're going to go down to this other guy. So here's another guy who tries to get me on occasion, Columbus. Look, there's a couple. Cute humor, Columbus. Prairie Mark, who I enjoy Prairie Mark a lot. And he's not he's not passive aggressive to like some of these other guys. Prairie Mark throws good arguments out there at me, which I enjoy. But this guy, this isn't a good argument because you can tell. I'm not sure where you're going with this, buddy. You're arguing about classic physics and quantum physics as they relate to the insanity of modern day politics? Huh? Please don't disregard the advancement of our understanding of science from the vastness of the universe and the presence of energies at the subatomic level. You're letting a few bad technocrats color your objectivity. By the way, Einstein's theory of relativity has been proven true many times. No, it just hasn't. It's kind of like saying Lorentz mathematics proves length contraction. It doesn't. Your math can prove it, but it doesn't mean it happens in reality. It's the same thing with relativity. Your math could work. Doesn't mean, again, as I always say, your math could say I have 4 apples because Chloe gives me 2 apples, Liam gives me 2 apples, I have 4 apples, but I don't have 4 apples. Your math could say I do, and it's proven that your math works, but I don't have the 4 apples, all right? We can make math prove a lot of things, so that doesn't necessarily have to mean it's proven in reality. All right, and then I said a few bad technocrats, eh? Whitaker, Rutherford, many others, and the list goes on and on. So he's saying, don't let a few bad technocrats color your objectivity. But what they say, buddy, and I said, I don't know why he's going back to what Rutherford. I said, Rutherford is a guy who said you can't prove the Earth spins while you're on the Earth. So I said, you're not familiar with Rutherford's take on Einstein, obviously, because he's saying Rutherford, one that I think is the first American to win the Nobel Prize in Physics, if memory serves. I could be wrong. I think he is, actually. But anyway, and he says, enlighten me on Rutherford. Because remember, he's calling Rutherford a bad technocrat. And then he turns around and says, Rutherford early work to understand radiation, radioactive decay contributed to the science behind the CT scanner. That's who we're talking about to begin with. Rutherford is the one who said we cannot prove that the Earth spins while we're sitting on the Earth. And he says, enlighten me about Rutherford. See, this is the kind of stuff that drives me up the wall. I'm like, dude, you're the one who says a few bad technocrats was clouding me. And the few bad technocrats that you claimed who I'm citing are Rutherford as well, man. Jeez. Anyway, it's just, it's frustrating because, let me show you something else here too. It's actually, why are you doing this? Have you lost it? Stick to what you sort of understand. I said, you don't have to be here. This guy says, it's wild. It's like we're watching somebody slowly lose it. He's got 10 likes. It's okay. I don't care. It's funny, man. If you got, like, there's 10 commies out there. So literally having the 10 people say, yeah, we're watching Josh lose, that doesn't bother me. I just chuckle. And then I said, you don't have to be here. He goes, I won't waste my time on your drivel. All right. I hope not to bump into you in the ether or anywhere else. Oh, it's just funny. Anyway, I want to show you something else. It says, take a trip into space and you'll learn real quick that the Earth is spinning. That's the freaking point. That's exactly the point. Ah! And this guy says, I owned a giant classroom-sized globe many years ago, 6 foot in diameter. I noted that an insect could not discern, observe, or even have knowledge that this globe he was standing on was slowly being rotated. Therefore, it was not rotating. Not for the ant, anyway. Exactly. We can't notice from the Earth. And I said, that's the point. And what Einstein and others, Rutherford and others, said, you can't prove rotation while sitting on the terrestrial plane. Now, he's trying to get me by saying the ant didn't know, but I was rotating, the ant didn't know. Because he can't prove it from the Earth. Anyways, it's just kind of funny, all these guys. Oh, yeah, right here. This is the type of topic posting that makes Josh a country bumpkin. You are better. Because I challenge the science. I challenge the science. How dare I? And this is what I find interesting is Einstein himself said, if the speed of light changes based on if the speed of light changes based on the source of this from where the speed is coming, his whole theories will crumble. And I find it interesting. And I said, and this is what I find most interesting about if you have one train moving at 100 miles an hour, another train stationary, and they hit this line. So you got one coming at 100 miles an hour, one stationary. They hit this line at the same time. They hit the light. If they turn on the light, will hit the wall at the same time. Universal speed of light, but there is no universal speed of light. Now, does that mean things go faster? Well, we have some indication that things could go faster than the speed of light. Whether or not it's because of the source of the light, I don't know. But I find it interesting nonetheless. And you can make the same argument about the sound. Weird sound waves in the ether. Does sound change based on a source? If the source is running, rah, does the speed of sound change? Probably not. But what is a sound? Is it a particle? No, it's a wave. Isn't that interesting? Anyway, be that as it may, it doesn't matter, because if we don't have universal speed of light, then special relativity inherently is a failure. And we don't have universal speed of light if we think that a photon is a mass. We don't think it's mass. We think it has no mass, but yet gravity bends the arc of the light. You see how it's incredibly interesting, man. So light is a photon and a wave at the same time. Silly to me, but whatever. Okay, well, let's go with it. The gravity bends light because light is a photon. Light is photons, which are waves and particles. Excuse me. Gravity bends light. All right. But how does it bend light when a photon has no mass? Isn't that interesting? Well, it's because it's a wave. So if gravity bends light, inherently that means there is no universal speed of light. And we got all kinds of studies on this other things too to show you that light in of itself has different speeds depending on lots of different things. I don't want to get into that here. Thus, if there's no universal speed of light, how do you then validate special relativity? All right. Now, on top of that, if sound waves travel through the ether as they do, light wave travels through the ether as well as a disturbance of the ether via a wave. But to get the gravity bending, it has to have a photon. But a photon has no mass, even though the smallest things like a neutrino or something like that has a mass. Isn't it? It's interesting. I don't get why people get so like, rah! Maybe because I'm bashing Einstein, because I want to bash Einstein so people say, hey, maybe this guy wasn't all that in a bag of chips. Anyway, so check this out. I thought this chuckle. My man, no! Oh boy, now he wants to go outside. Now you're seeing how I got to deal with this. Is why I go to Dunkin' Donuts to write, because the knuckleheads. I love them. Anyway, so my man Jeremy says, I thought this channel was about financial planning. Unsubscribing. See, I know Jeremy. It's funny. And 4 people say, yeah, man, I'm unsubscribing too. I'm going to get that, Josh. And this guy says, it really hasn't been for a while. And I heart that because I know Jeremy's laughing. It's funny. Anyway, so 3 for your old buddy Josh. So we smoked Common Sense, we smoked Columbus, and then the other guy, and 0 for the other guys. It's okay to be open-minded, It's okay to say, I wonder if there's a different perspective. But to simply say, these things have been proven, like the 4% rule, like the freaking special, it's okay to say, I wonder if there's a different thing. It's also okay to say, I don't care, I'm just living my life. I get that. I don't like that. For me, I've never liked that. I've always been a contrarian. I don't like the idea of just because a guy in a white lab coat says this, it has to be such. I don't know how you can still live like that in this day and age. That doesn't mean you got to go through and you don't have the time. I get it. You're working. I get it. But man, if there's ever been a time not to trust the authorities, is now. Can you not see how far we've gone off freaking the idea that science has all the answers? And as someone who believes in God and a risen Jesus Christ, the more you trust science, the less you trust God. And I do think there is starting to become a separation there. And I think we have to, I truly believe that, because science, that's not saying God doesn't want you to develop science. It's just saying when you just put your blind faith in science, or scientism. And I think a lot of people do that. Say, I just trust the laws of physics, special relativity, and I just go on my life. Do you now? Do you? And then even Christians will say, well, science proves this. I said, man, you're going down the wrong path, baby. You're going, if you start using that, your validation of Christianity is that science proves it. Woo. Because science can quickly say, we don't prove Genesis. And then you have to restructure your articles, your arguments on God. I don't think you need to, frankly. I think you can say, we can't prove the earth spins from the earth. And as such, until I see evidence otherwise, I might have to challenge my perspective and go back to what the good book says. Something to think about. God bless. We'll see you.